So one thing we have, like for these pamphlets, which a few of us had an idea of, and then we have this idea, which I don't know if we'll do, of get people that are kind of humorous or well-known, or people that we know that we could find that are radical, but people know that are pop culture figures, to do 2-minute readings of some of them on video and have them put them out. So whatever, have like Lady Gaga reading from Power, even though we don't like Lady Gaga particularly, but we have a friend who might know her. So we're like, okay, so yeah, so just kind of humorous ways in which it speaks to people differently. Suddenly you're getting cool ideas out in ways that people. So that's, I'm all about like, how can we shake up how we think about who stumbles across things and where and how, and again, like not be like, oh, banners and signs, but like I think this has been the most challenging moment in my life, how I found everything happens and every politics and how social movements and how you organize it's like a profound moment of learning for us. Nobody knows suddenly where everything's up for grabs. So we all have to not get in our comfort zones. And that's, I actually am totally not about being comfortable right now. This is a social movement, and I think we should try to make the places feel safer and like, but in a way, it's like actually feeling the discomfort all the time for me has been the most beautiful part of this. Because like, what would work now? Let's try something bizarre and different now. What would, that's actually a cool thing. And that discomfort, not in the sense that like someone's hurting you, but discomfort like, I actually don't know what would work. Why don't we try this today? And maybe it'll be awful, but it might actually be, because who the hell would have thought that Adbusters, who is so uninteresting, would put out a call on Facebook. No, I'm really serious. In Philly, 4 guys who turned out to be, I think one of them might be a cop, I don't even care. The others, they're all almost stereotypes of, if we, like the category patriarchy is, actually would be interesting. The word is very hard to pin down. These guys are almost caricatures of caricatures of caricatures. Made a Facebook page in Philly and said, we're going to start Occupy Philly. None of them showed up. And there were 600 people in a room, and they're all like, we want to occupy something. And some of my friends, all of us are anarchists, we know really well how to, facilitate. A few of my anarchist friends go, does anyone here do the Facebook page? And everyone's looking around each other, and everyone's so happy to be in this room with so many people, and everyone's like, there's never this many people in the room. And then my friends are like, well, I guess we'll facilitate. What do you want to talk about? And everyone's like, we want to occupy. And it was just so, it was like, okay. And then we had a separate meeting a couple days later. 50 people showed up to figure out how we were going to structure the second meeting, and 1,000 people showed up. And then because we're good facilitators, we started facilitating. And we're like, okay, if you want to occupy, we had a whole structure. People want to occupy in 3 weeks. And everyone's like, 3 weeks? And we're like, what? And then we backtracked. Finally, people were like, tomorrow? And then we started going, what time? And these people have never even thought about politics. And they're like, well, at 6 p.m., they're like, no. Noon? No. And someone's like, 9 a.m. And I'm like, oh my God. But it's just like, but it worked. It worked because people wanted to do it. And if the rest of us who've done this, not at this scale, we're all like, this is so stupid to occupy a plaza in a day when we have no idea how we're going to get food or anything, but it works. So I really just want to keep emphasizing, you're not going to, so don't, you can never do that again. It'll never work again. Okay, so it's also 7. If a few more people want to say something, maybe we should break and have dinner and just keep talking. But I also really, again...
dinner is on. I'm not sure where it is in process.
Okay. Well, we should,
you want me to check?
Yeah.
But I also think it's not nice to have you stand up here and keep talking and have this. It's also nice to mingle when people, so we don't have to keep sitting. But I really also want to, maybe we could try to thinking this, a lot of people keep talking about the spring offensive or what it's going to look like in the spring, and I really, really think it's a really interesting moment to be, what strategically do you want to happen in the next few months? And I know 100% that I want May Day to be huge, because that's my thing, because almost every Occupy all over the country picked this one moment, and I think it's going to be totally powerful. I could be completely wrong. So I went back to Philly recently, and I was like, because I keep bopping around places, and I came back completely on a mission to make sure we do, like, only if everybody else wants to, and now everybody's excited about it, because I was, like, crazy excited about it. But now everybody's going to do a bunch of things. But the reason I think, at first when I was trying to get people excited about it, everyone's like, can you tell us this is actually going to work? And I was like, I think we're starting to get, but that's the hard thing, like none of us know what's going to work. So whatever you're passionate about, this is what I'm passionate about right now, it's May Day. So, and if I hadn't convinced 200 and 300 people in Philly that they were just as passionate, it wouldn't be happening. And I would have been, and maybe it'll be a disaster, and everyone will be like, Cindy, what were you thinking? But it's actually interesting that a bunch of occupiers are thinking about that. For the next 2 months, that's what I want to think about. But what is it you want to think about in this region? So especially tomorrow, because I'm not part of this region again, it would be an interesting strategic question would be if you're forming a strategic network and there's going to be an Occupy upsurge in the spring, which everyone keeps having this idea of why? What would you want to do? What would you want? I mean, that actually might be interesting questions to ask about this region, about where you live, which again doesn't mean it's going to happen, but like there, as opposed to the pragmatic questions, we're like, oh, we could set up an email list, which is not to diminish that, but that's often where people first start, right? At the tactics, which is what here's how we can make a network function, which I actually think we know we can make networks function. The question is, why would we want them? Why? I just really, anyway. Okay, so sorry, and again, take lots of literature, that's all my thing, if you want. I have a few books from the Institute for Anarchist Studies. People can, if you have occupied libraries, you can take them back, or if anyone wants to take back any money, I will put it into more printing. If you don't want to, just take anything free. That's all free. So, okay. So thanks a lot, everybody, for... Oh, yeah. I don't know if I'm still here or just talking.
Video that I